You come over any one of the bridges and you get this, I get this like welcome home feeling.
A star chef returns to his roots in Seabright.
Competition's great for everybody. Well, when great restaurants come into play, like developments get created, jobs are created.
Join us as we dine with David Burke and eat our way around Seabright here on Restaurant Hunter. Welcome to Restaurant Hunter, where we're tracking down the best places to eat in New Jersey. I'm your host, Christine Sloan, and this half hour, we're down the Jersey Shore in Seabright in Monmouth County. Superstorm Sandy destroyed so many of the restaurants in this borough, but the comeback has been impressive. And now a celebrity chef is determined to turn this place into a dining destination by the sea. Later, we're taking a tour of Southeast Asian flavors at Yumi, then making a seaside favorite, clams pomodoro, at an iconic spot, the Rum Runner. But first, this restaurant's fairly new, but it's quickly becoming the talk of the town, mainly because of the famous chef who owns it. We're at Drift House by David Burke. David Burke.
Who's got a bigger head?
David has cookbooks, countless television appearances, and restaurants spanning from New York City to Washington, D.C., and now in New Jersey, Drift House by David Burke. On Ocean Avenue in Seabright, inside the Driftwood Cabana Club. The restaurant open to the public, beautifully decorated with bright art. The menu eclectic yet approachable. So when a food icon like David asks you to dine with him at his new restaurant, well, you jump at the chance. First course, his own creation, candied bacon on a clothesline.
You know, it's really thick bacon. So we put it on a rack, we paint it with a reduction of maple syrup, orange concentrate, mustard, and lots of black pepper, and we put it on, we slow roast it. We take that rendered fat from the bacon and the maple syrup, we put it back on and baste it until it gets cooked and crispy. We hang it up, we blow torch it, render out more of the fat onto this beautiful pickle, and you know, hang it up.
You torch the rosemary too.
Everything, we torch everything.
Torch it all.
A blowtorch is a powerful thing. It's like remote control.
So do you use scissors for this?
Yeah, you take I take one of these.
Okay.
You take this, and then you cut a piece. Clothespins are the new chopsticks.
Wow. This is exquisite. I love this. I mean, it's got that it's salty, crispy.
Sweet, spicy.
Oh, I love
everything.
it. The smoky flavor is fantastic. That's what makes this dish so incredible. How did you come up with this idea?
I was working on a dish when I was at a restaurant in Vegas. I was doing, I made fruit leather. I needed to dry it out. And when somebody had brought in one of these things you have in your house for drying clothes, you know, like a folding one, like a floating, I don't know what you call it. And we draped the fruit leather over it. And we clothespin it because it kept falling off. And we put it on a display in front of this event. And then it evolved into this. Making a dish that's not only visually appealing, Instagrammable, shareable, conversational, and basically it's eye candy.
You did this before Instagram.
I worked in a restaurant called the River Cafe underneath the Brooklyn Bridge, where the view is better than the view here, which is quite astonishing. My food became visually appealing at a young age because I was competing with a view.
You're also known for your salt-aged porterhouse steak.
This is simple. It's salt, pepper on the grill, and we finish it in the oven because it's such a thick steak. And we finish it with a little rendered beef fat. So we take the trimming of the fat because it's dry aged and has lots of flavor, render it out, and we use that as our seasoning instead of butter or moisturizer. The sirloin side, that's the filet mignon.
Okay.
Filet mignon traditionally is leaner, but look at the marbleization in that filet. Those white streaks is the marble.
Yes. And
that's how you grade a filet. That's how you grade beef in general. The more interior white marble, the higher the grade.
Whoops. Wow.
Great.
David, it's just so tender. It just melts in your mouth, and it's just packed with so much flavor. It's just delicious. The filet mignon has like a buttery taste because of that beef fat you put on it.
Right.
What's amazing about this is that you have a patent on this salt aging process.
Yes. I created a refrigerator with brick wall made of the salt bricks. This is a salt brick. So when you age beef, you put it in a cooler, sometimes as big as this room. The cooler I have the design patent on, we built the walls out of salt. Salt does a couple things, like baking soda does. It kills bacteria. And meat absorbs the salt, and the air is salty. So it's pre-seasoned. The thickness of the steak, the cells of this beef, the water comes out, the salt air goes in, and there's an osmosis that creates a more tender, more flavorful, umami-driven, bacteria-low steak. So in general, it's just a great steak. It's the best steak that you can buy, treated with the only U.S. patent for dry aging beef, which is owned by myself. And that's it. You can't invent something unless you're playing the game. And I play a lot. You know, I play a lot with my food. I think a lot about food. I live food. I'm always connecting dots. And when you've done it as long as I have, the dots get a little closer. This.
Wait, what?
Well, this is funny. This is my B1 sauce, and I'll tell you, why it's called B1?
Why?
A1 was taken.
You also
B1
have a
is
great
Berkeley.
sense of humor.
So,
I guess you need it in this business, don't you?
I'm telling you, it's mandatory.
So you and your brother grew up in this area.
Yeah.
So what
I
are
was
your
a
memories?
lifeguard in Seaboard. I think I saved somebody. So I think they were drowning. They were falling in the water, a little kid. But I got off with my whistle, my white nose, and my shorts were down to my ankles. I was a petite teenager too. I was 101 pounds in high school. My brother's a chef here. He's worked for me for on and off. I say that in fun as a laughing matter because we're brothers and we fight a lot.
So wait, he leaves and comes back? Or?
Oh, well, he was asked to leave. He might have left on his own a few times. But anyway, he was here before me, and he's doing a great job. So he has the experience. Some of the other culinary members of the team have worked for me in the past too. So it's nice to come down here and be able to reopen this place with the New York City feel, or world-class food that I'm known for. Those guys knowing how to execute it and come up with their own ideas.
I do want to go back to your early culinary career. You were really part of a group of chefs, including Alice Waters, who really changed the dining experience in the U.S. You showed people that fine dining didn't have to be French dining, and it was very revolutionary at the time, wasn't it? Why?
There was no real American cuisine, and if there was, it wasn't fine dining. You had barbecue down south, you had chowders and seafood up north, you had Northwest had its own food, New Orleans had its own flavor, Texas, but it wasn't if you bundled it together, it wasn't a fine dining at all.
So what was your role in that movement?
The first part came about by using local ingredients. The second part came with the melting pot of being able to serve dishes that had influences from different countries together on a plate. Like you could serve raw fish. The French never served raw fish.
And the French would never have a candied bacon on a clothesline. Oh no.
No clothespins. Well, we got away from fine dining being for wealthy people and a certain class of people, and now the chefs had a voice in what was going to be done in the restaurant. And like 40 years later, look what's happened. When I told my father I wanted to become a chef, he was 77. And being a chef was not a profession, it was a service job. It wasn't a good career choice back then, at least in a lot of people's eyes. It was a tough job, didn't pay a lot. It was a passion project. And you didn't really need an education. It wasn't a college educated job at that time. And there wasn't a lot to look up to. It wasn't like there was someone to mentor you, because there was no celebrity chef or chefs that own their own businesses, very few.
When you worked at the River Cafe, you were sourcing way before it became cool to do so.
And because we were so busy and we could pay the money for the farmers came to us. And we could also get the press on it because we were rule breakers. We broke all the rules.
I'm listening to you, and your mind is
That's how it
constantly
goes.
working, okay? Do you ever stop?
Yeah, I get my rest. Rest is important.
Yeah.
I don't get a lot of it, but rest is important. So, we're adrenaline junkies, most chefs, and the creative process, and we like the energy of a kitchen. So when things are going good, we can go. just like probably a lot of other professions. We do want to do a lot, but one of the things I get a lot of satisfaction out of is teaching people and watching them succeed. So my future will hold some teaching in it.
Thank you so much for having me here.
My
It
pleasure.
was a joy meeting you. Thank
Nice
you.
to meet you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Drift House by David Burke is open 6 days a week, closed on Mondays. All right, don't go away. Still more ahead here on Restaurant Hunter.
And you've actually played with none other than Bruce Springsteen.
Tim McClune, a musician and Renaissance man, owns the Rum Runner, the iconic Seabright Barn restaurant now in a new building after Superstorm Sandy destroyed the original spot. More with Tim in a moment, but first, executive chef Michael Dolan is going to make me the perfect Jersey Shore dish, clams pomodoro. So you've already scrubbed and cleaned the clams.
Yes, I did.
How do you clean them?
The clams soak in cold water with just a little pinch of salt. You can also use cornmeal. After they've exuded any grit or sand, we take a little nail brush of sorts and we clean the exterior so that sand stays out of your sauce.
What is the first step?
The first step is browning some lightly smashed whole peeled clean garlic in a little olive oil.
We're gonna saute that for a little bit.
Just for a quick minute. We'd be adding grape tomatoes to our sauteed garlic.
How long do you cook that for?
Oh, just for a quick minute. So we're just gonna sweat our tomatoes. A little tomato puree. That'll bolster the sauce and give it a little more body.
The clams, you've got little neck clams here?
Yes, I do.
And so why little neck?
I just like the texture of them. I find them a little sweeter than top necks.
Yeah.
That's just our preference here at the Rum Runner. They are local clams as well.
Right, so you're gonna put those in there?
Yes. Just gonna use 12 of them right now.
What is the secret to not overcooking clams?
The minute they open, they're done. A little white wine goes right in the saute dish. We're gonna add softened butter.
Oh, there it is.
And the butter is gonna provide the dish with just a little richness and really round the dish out. And now, we cover it.
Oh, wow.
All of our work is done.
So basically when you're covering it, that's gonna allow the clams to open?
Absolutely.
So what does that do? Keep the steam inside?
It accelerates the cooking process. It keeps the whole dish rather moist, and you're gonna have perfect clams when it's done.
Can we take a peek or is
Sure.
that gonna cause a problem?
Nope, not at all. You can see one of them's open,
Oh,
two of them's
wow.
open, 3, 4, and if you watch this process, they're gonna keep moving forward into an opening.
So are those clams ready?
Absolutely, they're ready.
Wow, let's check them out. Wow, they all opened.
And you can see how their juices went to the sauce, and we're really looking good right now.
And you don't add salt to that because they're naturally briny and salty,
Yeah.
the clams. We're not done yet. Okay, what do we need? The
Crushed hot red pepper.
There you go.
So just to kick this up a little, just a few pepper
Put it
seeds.
right on top. I'm
Right
gonna
on
bite into
top.
that.
Absolutely.
Okay, and some arugula.
Yes, in Italy, along with using basil or oregano or parsley, they'll also just tear some arugula on top
Nice.
of a dish.
I can't wait to taste this with Tim McClune. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I hope you enjoy it.
Tim, this looks lovely. Would you like to try some as well?
You know, the great thing is that even though I'm known as a restaurateur, I do not cook. So
You don't need
I'm
to
with
cook
you.
if you're a
I'm
restaurateur.
like I'm the ultimate customer, you know. Dolan is a great chef. He's absolutely been great for us. And you know, it's just he loves what he does. And it's not an easy life back there, nor is it easy to put this clam on this fork. Wow.
This is really good. A little saltiness, briny, nice texture. A little chewy is how you want your clams.
Yeah.
A little hot. I got a little bit of
getting that?
pepper.
You getting that?
But it's good. It's good. Got the acidity from the tomatoes, the little
And it's got a little kick.
little kick from the peppers.
I've always felt that when it comes to seasonings, that the worst thing that can happen is if you serve something bland.
Yeah.
If we do over season in a sense for some people's palates, I'd rather that that they complained that the food was, in a sense, too flavorful,
Yeah.
rather than saying, nothing happened there.
I'm really glad I finally met you. For so many years, I've just been driving, by your places.
Yeah, I love that, driving by. That's almost like being a customer. I have 3 children in college next year at the same time, and you're driving by.
I should come in and, this is free.
Yeah, and this is free, so there's nothing. It's like every time there's a frost, no, orange prices, they're going up.
Yeah.
Nobody has any oranges.
You didn't start out to be a restaurateur. You
Not
were
at all.
actually, you went to Harvard University.
Ugh, must we?
And you were a runner.
Yeah, that's how I got in. You kidding me? It's a long time
What'd you
ago all of a
study?
sudden. American history, which I figured there's only a couple of hundred years, how much trouble can I get into? What ended up happening was I was playing music, and when I got out of college, that's what I did. I decided to be a full-time musician. And when I originally bought this place, the original Rum Runner, it was really so I had a place to play. I was tired of traveling around and that I could play.
So you were in a band. You still have a band.
Yeah, but I eventually had to fire myself because I wasn't drawing that well anymore. I'd been here too much. Tim, I'm going to have to let me go.
You're still playing in your band, and you've actually played with none other than Bruce Springsteen.
He denies that.
He denies it? You're in his book, though, I hear.
Yeah. No, I say to people all the time, if you're a Jersey Shore musician and you haven't played with Bruce, you are terrible. You're a horrible musician.
Yeah, he makes all these like surprise appearances everywhere.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm never there when he makes these surprise appearances.
Bruce Springsteen rehearsed for his Tunnel of Love album here in probably 88, 89, something like that. And he rehearsed in our upstairs. And it was really funny because it proved that you could get tired of anything. One of our waitresses came up to me and said, if he plays that song one more time, I'm going to go up and tell him to stop. But I wouldn't take any money from him because we'd known each other forever.
You actually jammed with him?
Yeah. Now he rehearses, at the Meadowlands Arena. But,
What kind of a guy is he?
But he's wonderful. I tell people about Bruce all the time, that he's as nice as you would wish him to be. First time I ever played with him was at a wedding down in Monmouth Beach, and he showed up. He'd seen the bride and groom the night before in a local bar. And they said, why don't you come to our wedding tomorrow? And he did. And it was my band. And so he just came in and sat and played with us. And it was so over the top great that I was like, so that's what a real musician does. It's time for me to open some restaurants.
Well, we need to get Bruce back here. Hey, Bruce, we're friends. Would you like to be on my show? Yeah, no, he's too big for that. If you
No
could
one's too
work it
big
out.
to be on your show. Are you telling me that I'm just big enough to be on your show?
No,
I'm not sure this is going well.
And Tim, Chef Michael has been kind enough to share his recipe with us. We're going to post this
I
on
didn't
our...
authorize that, by the way.
You didn't
I
authorize
didn't
it?
authorize that. But
Well,
we'll let it go this
We're
time.
overriding that now.
Okay, you're doing the right thing.
Thank
I wish
you.
I knew how he made these things.
Oh, we
They
should
just-
go in there
They just
sometime.
taste great. No, I would injure myself. Nobody needs to see that.
Well, they can get this on our Facebook page at Restaurant Hunter NJ. All right, don't go away. Still more ahead here on Restaurant Hunter.
So one of Seabright's hidden gems.
We're eating our way around Seabright, and our last stop for more than just sushi. We're at Yumi. At Yumi in Seabright, the food's as beautiful as the view across the street.
So one of Seabright's hidden gems. We've lived here for 7 or 8 years now, and it's always consistent.
The Pan-Asian restaurant offers artful dishes from Japan, Taiwan, and Malaysia. Chef Sean Yang and manager Bowie Koch
It's going to be a very light dish, right?
are the owners of the quaint spot in the center of town.
We talk about it and we say if we have a good food, good service, we will make it.
Well, when you came here in 2005, there were few restaurants, but it wasn't like it is now, was it?
Yes.
It was quite different. It was
quite
a big
different.
risk.
Yes, it's a big risk. When we first opened, a lot of our friends, not saying in front of us, but like they will say they're crazy. Why they pick this spot? When we, after years and years going on with like the business is blooming every year.
Customers can't get enough of the food, much of it displayed like a piece of art. Pretty dishes like octopus carpaccio, decorated with edible flowers, tuna sashimi pizza, as well as a large variety of maki, also known as rolls.
We had our crispy rolls there with the spicy tuna, a little bit of jalapeno on top. Then they have this wonderful blend between the sauces, and overall really, really good stuff.
But the plated nigiri sushi with different toppings is what Chef Sean wants me to try.
Nigiri is a piece of thin sliced fish that topping into a little rice ball. And this is original from Japan that in different regions, chefs are trying to create their own nigiri that mostly are brushing with the homemade soy sauce. And come to US, we try to create something little fit into American. So we add in different toppings.
Sean, this looks incredible. I mean, it's almost too beautiful to eat. So I'm starting with the
Tuna.
The tuna. Want me to get
Yeah,
the
you
full-
can dip a sauce, just yes.
Very tiny.
That's perfect.
Tuna is so moist. It sort of melts in your mouth. The rice, of course, I get that vinegar flavor from it. This is incredible.
That's a scallop, and that you don't need any dipping. And if you could do one bite, that's what sushi for. It's like one bite. And that's a salsa.
Oh, it's a salsa on top.
Yes.
So this has the salsa. Like the salsa's got that tangy taste to it.
Yes, citrusy,
Perfect.
touch a little bit salt.
It's so good. And then this is the
This is red snapper and a shiso on top.
definitely a meaty taste to this red snapper. It's
Yes.
fantastic.
Each one of them, one by one, you get from citrusy and saltier and saltier.
And this is
the tuna belly, otoro, with the chopped wasabi.
has a kick to it. The wasabi's
Yes.
fantastic.
It's not always need to have a soy sauce.
Well, people get very confused between sashimi and nigiri. Sashimi is basically the fish alone.
Basically, separate from sushi and sashimi. Mostly they call sushi, it has rice on it, and sashimi without rice. So it's like sushi is on the rock, and sashimi is straight up.
A lesson in sushi, sashimi, and more at Yumi. Yumi is open 7 days a week. Don't forget, we're on Facebook and on Twitter at Restaurant Hunter NJ on Facebook and at Restaurant NJ on Twitter. We'd like to thank all the restaurants we visited this half hour, Drift House by David Burke, The Rum Runner, and of course, Yumi. And remember, you'll always have a place at the table here on Restaurant Hunter. I'm Christine Sloan. Until next time, New Jersey.